Um, okay, little brief summary.
Is his here? No, I better not do that.
The summary is about status as a living man or woman. We want to establish our jurisdiction as a living man and women, sons of God and the universe and this planet. And we want to operate as a living man. When we operate in commerce or in any situation, we operate as in the private as a living man and women with private contracts. A contract doesn't have to be written, it could be a verbal contract or just an agreement. Anyway, point one is operating as a man or woman in the private, and that is establishing your status. So you're going to basically declare that you are a living man or woman, let the corporation know, send them a notice, telling them, look, I'm a man or woman. If there is any tax, fine, or whatever imposition, mandate, decree, directives that the corporation, you want me to follow, I will gladly follow. That is the conditional acceptance there in your notice. I operate as a living man or woman, and I need just one thing. This is the conditional acceptance. I will follow your directives and decrees and all that bullshit, but I need a ticket where I sign the contract that I am part of your corporation. That doesn't exist. So you send them a few notices. Notices will never be replied because the contract doesn't exist. So you are accepting everything and you're establishing jurisdiction. You're sending everything, all these notices through registered mail, and you are keeping your receipts. So this is your evidence that when eventually the corporation comes after your body with an injection or whatever mandates they want, masks or whatever, then you have your paperwork down there. You took them to default. How do you take somebody to? How do you end? Well, basically, we're going to emulate what the banks do when they want to take your property. They send you the first notice and tell you, well, you haven't paid your this month. This is the first notice. Second notice, second month, you are in fault, and the third notice, after 3 months, you're gonna receive the notice of default, and after that, they're gonna come after your property. Well, that is following procedure. That's how commerce works, and this is a commercial transaction. What they do, all these offers, either doesn't matter what mandates, directives, decrees, it all applies to the employees of the corporation. All these codes and regulations, directives, it directly applies to the public employees, basically. Or million, I don't know how many million people do we have here in Spain, publicly employed, anyway. But for the rest of the 49 million people in Spain, the codes, decrees, and all these regulations that the corporation says is a compulsory is just an offer, it's just commerce. And with our silence, it means that we accept tacit consent, acquiescence. If you make silence, you accept. That's how it works. If you don't know, whatever you don't say doesn't exist. And that's how they go around things. You see commerce with people that doesn't know how commerce works. They use commerce law and apply commerce law and make us use a certain language that creates a relationship a contractual relationship actually, because contracts with the credit card, you have a credit card, suddenly you get a piece of paper with 40 pages, and you see that you got that in your mail. You open that up, it's the credit card, a lot of words, 40 pages there. Those are the new terms and conditions. You don't reply to it, you just read that, the first 2 letters, and then throw it away. That was the notice telling you the new terms and conditions of your credit card. That you just disregarded, you made silence, which means that you just accepted the new terms and conditions. This is exactly the same. That is the method that the corporation, the government uses, is exactly that. They use notices, decrees, mandates, and all that bullshit, and wait for your silence. So, we're still in the status part, but we're going to jump to the properties in a second, the second part. But before that, once you notify the corporation that you are a living man or woman, one of the most important points of contract law is that corporations can contract with corporations, and living men and women can contract with living men and women. Corporations cannot contract with living beings. So when you establish your jurisdiction, as a living man, your status as a living man or woman, and then you let them know in a notice, in a sworn oath, that you are a living woman operating in the private, but you are willing to accept and follow all the bullshit with just one condition, at least one condition. You need to see a ticket, a contract where you signed and accepted all that bullshit before. Otherwise, you just, what? So if you're not confronting, that is like the number one tool, the conditional acceptance. You accept everything. You never confront anyone, any police, any government official, anyone. You always accept. You're always in the creditor seat, because the one making the claims, sending the notices, giving the offers is the creditor. The government acts as the creditor, but the government is just the trustee, because it's all commerce and trusts. The government has all the properties in all these funds and BlackRock, all these the big corporations. They really have nothing. They have every property, all the assets are all inside of trusts, and they are the beneficiaries. And that's point number 2 of the summary. Ideally, you don't want anything. You don't want to own